Let's talk about Welcome to the Vault. Why now? Why this box set now?
Well, you know, I had to put all of my archives in a database.
Yeah.
And I'd been putting it off for 50 years. You'll find this out later, you know.
Oh, really?
Like, remember that show you did and stuff like that? So my wife Janice and I started like creating this big database of stuff, and we started going through it. And then, you know, people said, well, you ought to, you know, put something together. And we just started finding all these different things. We found like recordings with Les Paul and T-Bone Walker and television shows from the 70s before the Joker was a hit, and started just finding all this fun stuff.
When you recorded the Joker, did you know that was going to be a hit song?
Absolutely not.
No, really?
No, I didn't have a clue. And I had finished the record. I did it in about 15 days. And the Joker was just a song I had written that I liked, you know. And I was just doing whatever I wanted to do. And I turned it into the record company. And one of the kids in the room said, well, you know, I think that Joker's a really good tune. And I said, you know, listen, I'm just starting a 60-city tour. Just have the records in the towns where I'm playing. That'll be enough, you know. And we left, we went to Florida, and 60 cities later, we got back, and it was all #1 all over the place. I finally had a hit record, a real one,
right.
You know, so it was a big breakthrough.
That was the one.
Yeah, that started it off, yeah.
That started it all, and you came up with the phrase, Pompatus of Love.
Well, that was an old doo-wop song, you know, and it was like, come closer, darling, and I want to speak to you about the Pompatus of Love,
yeah.
You know, except I think it was a different term, and I had misunderstood it, so I made up the word pompatus. And the funny thing about that was, for years after that, I would get letters from people going, Steve, what does the Pompatus of Love mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I had no answer.
I have no idea.
I had
it
no
just
idea.
was
It's
something.
just a song, you know?
Yeah. Putting this together, though, you must be, I mean, all the great photos. I love the guitar picks, by the way. I think that's a cool touch right there.
Yeah.
But,
and there's a wait a minute. There's a pass. These are real passes.
Oh, really?
Not that. That's something else. I can't. It's stuck. Yeah. All right. This one is. This is from the World Tour of 2012.
Hey, look at that. These are real backstage passes.
Those are real ones
come with
left
the thing.
over. Yeah. So
Rad.
they're in the box. So we put all sorts of little stuff in it to make it fun. And
do you remember the early gigs? Do you like those ones when you were like in a little band in high school? Or
yeah, I remember everything. You know, I can almost remember the weather. You know, it's like I love to play music, and I remember when we first started out. When I started my first band, I was 12. It was 1956, and there were no rock and roll bands. So I had a friend in the 7th grade who had been taking drum lessons since he was 5, and he was a great drummer. He was really a pro, you know.
Yeah.
So we had a good little band, and Boz Scaggs was in that band. And
Boz Scaggs was in the band?
Yeah. So we mimeographed a letter and sent it to all the sororities and fraternities at SMU in Dallas, and all the synagogues and churches and country clubs and any place that had live music, which was all over Dallas. And so we had a rock band, but we didn't tell them how old we were.
Because you didn't think they'd book you?
Yeah, so I had to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night because I was 12.
So it wasn't real.
I was doing all this phone work, you know. And in about 3 weeks, I had the band booked for the entire school year. And I was telling my mom, you don't understand, I got a gig on Friday night. You know?
Mom, you don't have no idea, I'm Steve Miller.
So we started wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses because we thought that made us look older. And we had these little seersucker suits.
Oh, my God.
And, you know, we'd walk in, we were about 5'3", 5'4", you know, and show up. But we played blues and we played rhythm and blues. That's what the music that I had grown up learning. And
do you remember your first song that you could really jam out to?
Well, yeah, it's The Gangster of Love.
That was it?
Yeah, I started that when I was 11.
Wow.
There's Frank James and Jesse James, Billy Kid and all the rest, you know.
Wow.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.